Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. And we had two races from Diriyah in Saudi Arabia coming to us courtesy of Formula E, and they were two, I'm going to say it, pretty fantastic races. They are very exciting, although the podium for both races looked very familiar. We actually saw Pascal Wehrlein do the double, which is very impressive, and Porsche have definitely come on leaps and bounds. I think this was a big year for them. I've been saying for the last couple of years that it was a big step for them to take a win. They finally did it last year, and now it just looks natural for them to be at the front. And Pascal Wehrlein is driving brilliantly. Jake Dennis as well for Andretti. He took the first win of the season, and he got 2 second places here. At the moment, those two are running away with it. We had a podium for Sam Bird and a podium for René Rast. Both of them are looking very good this year. My tip for the year was Mitch Evans, and he has struggled a bit over the first 3 races, but there's plenty of time to kick on and score points. And in Formula E, you can never be certain of anything. These races have not necessarily been as chaotic as races we have seen in the past. In fact, Diriyah last year was a car wreck show. We saw, was it Alex Lynn go upside down right at the end? I think Mortara had a big crash in qualifying as well, which happened to Maxi Günther as well this year. He crashed in qualifying and they couldn't get the car repaired for the first race, so we only had one Maserati in that one. But Maserati did score their first points of the year in the second race at Diriyah, as did Neo. Dan Tickton did a great job bringing it home in 10th, so Neo have a point on the board. The Apt Cupra team are the only ones not to. And it was nice seeing Kelvin van der Linden, I can't even say his name, Kelvin van der Linde from DTM make his debut in the series. Someone who could definitely follow in the footsteps of René Rast. He struggled here, but it's not surprising as Apt Cupra do seem to be the bottom team. And obviously this was a big step up for Kelvin van der Linde. I'm not actually sure how much single-seater experience he has. Robin Freins, who was meant to be driving that car, was injured in the first race. I believe he broke his wrist or something nasty. So he's going to be... I don't know if he'll be back for the next race. Maybe he will. But Kevin van der Linde's a brilliant stand-in for him anyway. As for the racing itself, there wasn't a huge amount of overtaking. We saw a few moves into the first corner. I think that's where the majority of overtaking was. And Pascal Wehrlein pulled off some fantastic overtakes. He didn't start on pole for either of these races, but he came through and took both wins. Jake Dennis as well. I think he started in the midfield for both races and came through the field, finished second both times. So you can tell who the top cars and the top drivers are. There are some big names who are struggling, like Lucas de Grassi and Jean-Eric Verne, Stoffel van Dorn, Antonio Felix da Costa. They're right down the bottom of the championship table right now, and they need some good results. Sebastian Buemi is having a much better season now that he's with Envision. I think he did well to leave Nissan because Norman Nato and Sasha Fenestraz are both struggling. But it's nice to see him back up into the points. Jake Hughes, who I have really shit on quite a lot over the last few years in both Formula 3, Formula 2 and, of course, Formula E. I'm pretty sure I said he wasn't going to do very well. He's been driving well. He took a pole position here. He couldn't hold on at the front. He dropped back both races, but he has scored points. And I think at the moment he's 5th in the championship. René Rast's podium in the third race leaves him a point behind. But McLaren, in their debut year, they're doing really well. I enjoyed both races, but I do have gripes. I still don't like attack mode, and I really don't like what they've done to it this year. Everyone has 4 minutes to use, but they can use 2 minutes and 2 minutes again, or 1 minute and 3, or 3 minutes and 1. I think the idea is it's going to give added strategy to the attack mode activation. I don't like it. I think it's a convoluted mess, and I think the racing would be better without attack mode. Formula E has always had a problem of relying on these silly gimmicks, and I'm really happy they got rid of fan boost. I thought that was always the most stupid thing in existence. It's basically an unfair advantage for whichever drivers get it, but actually in itself, the amount of times I saw it used well, or in any way usefully, were limited. You got the odd overtake here and there, but most of the time it was a quick burst of speed that was never enough. I'm glad they've done away with that. I would be quite happy for them to do away with attack mode. I think the energy conservation part of Formula E is enough to carry the whole series. It's quite an interesting dynamic to have to manage your energy throughout the race as well as your speed. And things like attack mode just take away from that more than anything, because yes, it adds into the strategy that in attack mode you're using more energy. I just don't think that's necessary. I mean, you could probably do the same by adding 3 or 4 laps to the race, which would actually be a better option for fans. So that's really the one thing I have against Formula E right now. Everything else, the racing is very enjoyable. There's more cars on the grid. They have a very high standard of driver. We are seeing a gap between the top cars and the bottom cars, but it's a bit more fluid than what we see in Formula 1. There's no like big three. So, I mean, the racing has been excellent. I've really, really enjoyed it, and that was no different here. This was not the greatest race, well, these weren't the greatest races in Formula E history, but they were still damn good races. And I'm very happy for Pascal Wehrlein. I think he did a fantastic job. Really, he is definitely in championship contention. I think he might be the driver to beat, because Porsche seem to have built one hell of a car, and Pascal Wehrlein is looking very, very difficult to catch. Jake Dennis, honestly, the biggest surprise of the last few years. Again, when he was signed by, was it BMW Andretti or was it just Andretti when he signed? I can't even remember. I was like, this guy's a nobody, he's not going to do much. Honestly, he's been fantastic the last few years, and this year again, definite title contention. René Rast is another one. I think he's a great driver. I think he drives very consistently and will score points throughout most of the year. I think he's going to be right up there too. And Sam Bird seems like a different driver to last year. So right now, they're the 4 drivers I would say you need to keep an eye on. They're the one. I think they are the top 4 in the championship, but they are definitely the 4 drivers driving best. I think Sebastian Buemi, very much capable of taking a win this year. I think Mitch Evans will close up to the top as well. I think we'll see more from Nick Cassidy. It's going to be interesting to see how the Penske cars progress, if they can make it up the field, because Van Dorn and Verne are both fantastic drivers. It's going to be a very exciting year for Formula E. I think the next race is in a few weeks. I didn't actually check, but I'm pretty sure it's in February sometime. It honestly feels like we're already halfway through the season. It's gone so quick. We're only in January. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about Formula E. It's been terrific. So moving on to other things, this week there might be a few less videos, maybe over the next couple of weeks. My girlfriend is going in for a C-section tomorrow. God willing, everything will go well and there'll be a newborn baby in the house. That may make it difficult to record videos, but, you know, baby comes first. I have prepared stuff in advance of I have to finish a couple of bits, but I am very, very busy this week. But I am going to try. I'm going to keep up watching the motorsport, and I'm going to try and throw a few videos out there. I want to talk about Race of Champions at some point, but I haven't watched it yet because I've had a very busy weekend. And, you know, there was loads of racing this weekend, but there probably won't be a roundup because I just don't have time to do it, and I haven't watched it all yet. As for everything else, I think we're a month and a bit away from the Formula 1 starting. This year is already going far too quickly. I can't believe it's nearly February. Honestly, time needs to slam on the brakes. It's just going so fast. So with that, and this was a very short and not very well thought out video, make sure you subscribe. We have been growing fantastically over the last few weeks, and I'm very happy with the channel and how it's progressing. I'm going to be trying to do a few different things, and I have plenty of stuff planned, and I will be getting stuff done. So thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe. Leave a comment with your thoughts on the Formula E. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.